The idea behind Big Bad Woo is to create really high quality cartoons that would compete with Disney and Warner Brothers for the kids' eyeballs for their entertainment value, but everything would be layered to teach pro-social values like social emotional skills, ethics, integrity. So to date, we've supported about 3 million children in 15 countries in partnership with UNICEF and Care International and Save the Children. But we've basically used these programs to provide psychosocial support.
What if the most powerful classroom in our world isn't a classroom at all, but the stories children choose to watch? In this conversation recorded at WISE last November, I sit down with Aly Jetha, entrepreneur and co-founder of Big Bad Boo Studios, an animation company he built with his wife Shabnam Rezai. Born in Zambia and raised in Vancouver, Jetha began his career working with the United Nations before becoming a lawyer and management consultant. Eventually, he turned to storytelling to create children's media that combines entertainment with education. Aly and I talk about how the stories children return to shape how they see the world. At Big Bad Boo, storytelling is designed intentionally, bringing together educators, psychologists, and artists to create entertainment that builds genuine empathy, resilience, and ethical thinking. Aly and I also explore the responsibility that comes with reaching millions of children, from classrooms to refugee camps, where stories can become powerful tools for learning, healing, and hope. Sincerely hope you enjoy my interview, Aly Jetha. So, dear listener, if you're listening, I was doing a wonderful interview with Aly Jetha, and Aly Jetha is the founder and CEO of Big Bad Boo Studios. We were on a roll, we were in a flow talking about his amazing work, and we're going to do it again, Aly. We'll get through this.
10 minutes in the interview before you realized
we were 10 minutes. So I'll tell you even worse. I did an interview with Stavros, CEO of WISE, and it wasn't recorded at all. We did a full hour.
Oh, wow.
And he was so gracious to do it again. The wonders of technology, the wonders of letting me steer technology.
So it is on.
We're on now. It is running. I'm so very sorry.
Oh, no.
But we need to get through this. Anyways, very warm welcome to you. And Aly, we were just saying you're doing marvelous work in animation. Yes. Can you very quickly, for our listeners, tell them what it is you do exactly?
Sure.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me on the show. My wife and I, 20 years ago, started a company called Big Bad. The idea behind Big Bad Woo is to create really high quality cartoons that would compete with Disney and Warner Brothers for the kids' eyeballs for their entertainment value, but everything would be layered to teach pro-social values, stuff on climate change, social emotional skills, ethics, integrity. So what we did is we hired award-winning artists from Disney and childhood development psychologists from Sesame Street, and we put them in a room together and we make sure that what we create is really entertaining, but also layered to teach values that we think are really important for kids to thrive. So our cartoons, we've created about 10 series to date. They broadcast in over 100 countries and 40 languages. They reach about 500 million people on television.
Yeah.
They've been streamed about 4 billion times. And they've won about 50 international awards just for their entertainment. So they do well at engaging kids, because if you want to use entertainment as a way to educate kids, you need to make sure it's entertaining. But we also, because our cartoons are layered to teach these skills, we also couple them with curriculum materials. So a teacher can use a cartoon that's 10 minutes long, classroom, to stimulate activities and discussions. And those curriculum we've created with the former head of curriculum from Sesame Street. So those are used in classrooms all over the world, in the United States, in the Netherlands, and Germany, Switzerland.
Yeah.
But we've also used them with UNICEF to provide children who have been in conflict with psychosocial support. Supported about 3 million children in 15 countries in partnership with UNICEF and Care International and Save the Children and other international organizations. A big partner of ours is Islamic Relief. They've done a lot of work with us. But we've basically used these programs to provide psychosocial support for kids in conflict, ease their trauma.
So that's an amazing journey. And what I was wondering is, how did you get into this?
So believe it or not, I started off my career, I went to law school. I went to law school in California, and then I worked as a management consultant. Wife was working as a software executive on Wall Street. I was running a telecoms company, but we both had a real passion for human rights and promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so we realized that media is very, very powerful, right? Not only is it powerful in its potential reach if everybody watches it, but when you look at how children develop their social emotional skills, there's really three sources: family, there's their community, schools, churches, things like that. But the single most powerful influence children and their social values is media.
Yeah.
Right? Like you've seen kids. If they like a character, they want the backpack, they want the shoes. You give them toothpaste with the character that they love, and they'll want it.
It's a whole set of merchandise following. And as
incredible.
I said, per Tory interview, they want to watch it 20 times over, right?
Yeah. 20, 100 times.
Oh, yeah.
Daughter doesn't get tired of watching her favorite shows over and over again.
Yeah.
But so media is very, very powerful. So we both felt that if we wanted to promote diversity, equity, inclusion, if we wanted kids to be more conscious of the environment, if you can get them engaged in a show that has characters that they love and stories that they love, number one, you have a very powerful ability to get to children and change values. But also you can do it innocuously so that they're enjoying a show, but they're also learning about climate change.
And what you're doing is remarkable, and it's a great thing to do. We were also talking about the fact that it is not an easy market, right? So there are big players there, and they tend to monopolize a lot, and it's very difficult to kind of find your way against them.
Yeah. Well, I think every market that is out there is very, very difficult, and you've got your really big players.
Yeah.
That's probably struggled at some point to get there, but they are very big and influential. And so when you're dealing with, children's media, for example, you have these big behemoth companies like Disney and Warner Brothers and a lot of the distribution channels. So it is a very competitive market, particularly when you're a small independent producer, and fairly successful in that market. So, our shows, as I said, they broadcast in over 100 countries on most public broadcasters around the world. We have a show on Hulu, which is owned by Disney.
Okay.
It's called The Bravest Night.
Okay.
And it is about an African girl to be the bravest knight that ever lived.
Oh, wow.
And so that is one of the more popular shows that won the GLAAD Awards.
Yeah.
So being a partner of Disney, better to be a partner of theirs than a competitor.
Yeah. But that's so admirable. So you've had considerable success. I mean, above and beyond. Still, you mentioned yesterday there's public money involved. There were some setbacks recently, but funding, public funding being cut, so that kind of also affects you in your production process and all those things. Could you talk a little bit about those challenges and how do you see a way forward?
So, we've used a blended business model. Ours is a very different company because we have a for-profit enterprise that makes cartoons and curriculum that go into schools. And that brings in revenue. And we've done a lot of work using the content that we develop in refugee nonprofit type situations. So we will partner with large donors like the EU and the Danish government and the Netherlands government.
Yeah.
And what they will do is we will work with them to make our assets available at no cost for refugee populations in certain countries. So the refugee humanitarian side of our business took a very, very big hit.
Yeah.
When USAID terminated most of their projects.
Yeah. And you do need their involvement, right? You can, not only for the money, but also for getting the eyeballs for you need support, governmental support for people to prioritize it and say, hey, this is something you should look at. Maybe differently to if Disney were to pick it up, but I mean, these are more for the public good. So you would want to broadcast them on PBS and kind of more public networks.
The U.S. government funding, to the extent that it's hurt channels like PBS, definitely hurt us.
Yeah.
But when we broadcast around the world as an independent studio, we make a cartoon and broadcasters around the world decide to pick it up.
Yeah.
So we don't really need the U.S. government support for that. We don't really need USAID support. Where we were impacted badly is if we are doing an implementation for example, with children in the West Bank. And we need to provide them with books and materials and deliver the materials and train the teachers and do impact analyses. ID or the Canadian government or Qatar charities or big donors to be able to support the philanthropic work. So that took more of a hit than the for-profit.
I can imagine. So what brings you to WISE? I mean, is it the curricular part? It's like, I mean, and obviously you were a WISE award winner. Let's definitely mention that. Back in 2018, I was part of the Accelerator in 2015. So by WISE standards, we're already old folk coming back, alumni coming back to the WISE family. But what brings you to WISE specifically? It's like you want to do more with the educational part, the resources, making sure there's more pickup from, within schools and in.
When we won the WISE award, it was primarily for our refugee work.
Okay.
And it was how we were teaching and measuring social emotional skills and reducing vulnerability for kids in conflict. To win that award, they've been wonderful to us. What we've realized, or the reason why I'm here, we are now taking our programs into mainstream schools in Western countries. And the big issue is that in the West, they have a big problem with social emotional skills. We prioritize them. Teachers prioritize them, schools prioritize them, but we don't really teach it that well. Programs out there that are really effective at teaching things like integrity and empathy and ethical leadership and democratic values. We teach that and we measure it. You look at the United States and 33% of all children in elementary schools say that they're bullied often. When you ask kids in grade 4, are you happy? Only 48% of the kids say yes. That drops to 25% by the kids who are in grade 8. So we have social emotional problems. And as it turns out, we've tested our programs into schools in the United States and the West, and we've reduced bullying rates, increased happiness and optimism by using these programs that we've cultivated. So my trip to WISE this year is a little bit different. Ways that we teach social emotional skills very effectively and also measure them with the same robustness that we use for academic skills.
So many questions. One that I need to ask for you as a creator or like producer of all this content, what role is AI playing in your creation process?
So it's a super question. It's advancing at a rapid rate, but right now AI takes what's out there as the basis of what it creates. And so it's always creating something that's familiar. So when the common eye sees a character designed by AI, it's taking models that exist that are really familiar to your eye and recreating characters out of them. So creatively, it's not as sophisticated as it needs to be for the animation world on the front end, on the creative component. But where we're seeing changes in the efficiency on the back end processes of model building, of coloring, of certain aspects of animation. So we're seeing in the production process, but not as great on the creative side. Like you can't get AI to write a script for you to do it. We've tried it.
Can be funny for you.
It's not that good.
And the pedagogical element is also very difficult.
So, on the creative side, I think who knows how quickly it's going to progress.
It scares a lot of people in the creative industry, like all these examples of actors, like, okay, people are just going to take my face or something like me, and then that's going to be an actor.
There's rules that are being established within what's known as the Screen Actors Guild, which is the massive union of actors that protect actors for that. And we tend to support that.
What are you most proud of?
My kids. I have two wonderful children. One is 14 and the other one is 10. And they are the best creation that I think I could have possibly made.
Bless you for this answer. Now we're all sidetracked. I think the same, but now most proud of within Big Bad Boo.
Within Big Bad Boo, I'm really proud of the fact that we are true to our mission. So my wife and I started Big Bad Boo 20 years ago, and we had one singular objective. And that was, we wanted to reach every child in the world and let them know whatever their shape, color, or size, whatever their religious affiliation, their gender, their sexual orientation, they have the right to dream, to aspire, and to be respected. That was our mission. And we've stayed true to our mission in terms of everything that we create is really about the kids. And it's about making sure that they feel loved and
Yeah.
respected
Yeah.
for who they are.
Yeah.
So I think,
And that level of integrity is in everything you do. That comes back in.
well, we hope so.
Yeah. No, but it's,
You know,
if you have it as a mission statement in there, right?
yeah. I mean, my wife likes to say we give a voice to those that don't have one. And that also, I mean, she's a little bit more succinct than me and a little bit better than me. I'm a little bit more verbose with how I explain our mission.
Yeah.
But we're very true to that mission. I'm really proud of the shows that we've created. You know, we've created 1001 Nights, which is based on the old tales of 1001 Nights, which was very popular around the world. We created a show called 16 Hudson, which is a big building in a big city where everybody comes from a different place. Galapagos X is our show on climate change. Because all those shows are kind of like our children.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of, and then I'm very proud of the work that we've done with UNICEF.
Yeah.
You know, when you walk into a refugee camp and you see vulnerable kids, you really want to do what you can. And I think a lot of people, when they see what's on the news, want to do something. There's nobody that doesn't want to somehow contribute to the solution. And we have the unique being able to contribute and do something. And I'm really happy that we do.
I can imagine. One of the things I was wondering, so how long on average does you creating an entire season or a series, I don't know exactly how it works. How long does that take from start to finish?
You know, to develop a show, you develop the concept and the idea, and then because you don't want to go into production until you know somebody's going to buy it.
Yeah.
And when a broadcaster commissions your show, they're going to want to be involved.
Yeah.
So that process of developing a show can take 5 years to develop the original concept to getting it sold. Now, some of them are faster. It can take a year or two.
Yeah.
Once the broadcaster has commissioned it, it takes you, let's say that you're making 26 episodes.
Yeah.
Right? Production, and every episode is being created like it's on a staircase.
Yeah.
Right. So one goes into design. When it gets out, the next one goes into design.
Yeah.
Then it goes, and so what happens is that you got all 20, you don't make the entire episode and then start another episode. You're making them all simultaneously. So that production process itself can take, 18, sometimes 24 months.
Wow. Yeah.
In addition to the script writing.
Yeah.
So it's a lengthy process. And there's also a lot of people involved.
And do you also need to get the funding before you sign off on anything, right? It's kind of like you need the money before you kick off on any project.
Yeah, and generally what happens is there's tax credits and production incentives in certain countries.
Okay.
So in Canada, for example, they have a very good tax credit system. So if you raise half of the money on your own, you can fund the rest of it through tax credits.
Yeah.
And so you have to negotiate your deals with broadcasters who buy the show from you. A certain amount midway through.
Yeah.
And you're balancing time. But it's a bit of a juggling.
It's a bit of a juggle. I can imagine. There's loads. You need to be everywhere a little bit, right?
And then broadcast commissions are going down.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of viewership is now moving online to like YouTube.
Yeah.
And YouTube, their form of content is very different. It's short-term content.
Yeah.
Psychologists, they've got no standards for what is appropriate for kids.
Yeah.
And so they don't cost as much as something for PBS is.
But it's absolute content graveyard. It's not really like, there's no standards. And
I mean, we focus on social emotional skills.
Yeah.
Putting your kid on YouTube is literally like taking them to a candy store and saying, go at it. Because there's no guardrails, right?
Yeah.
When we're teaching kids skills, we want to teach them optimism, resilience, to take risks.
Yeah.
On YouTube, they're watching reels of people failing and laughing at them.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of what you want to teach them. Because if they're sitting there laughing at somebody else taking a risk and failing, they won't take that risk.
No. Yeah.
And it also doesn't do anything for empathy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
100%.
It is a scary world in children's entertainment because we're drifting towards platforms that have no regulations and have a lot of impact on kids.
And that's a problem in multiple other in general, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're not going to solve that in this podcast interview because we're almost at the end of it. Aly, so thank you so much for your time. Before we end, my two very last questions.
Yes.
You've been a lawyer. You started as a lawyer, management consultant. You're now making these beautiful animations in your professional career? Has there been any piece of reading or any type of content that you absorbed or ingested that you would like to share that kind of inspired you on your journey?
I think the earliest memory that I have is something that had a really huge impact on me in terms of my understanding of rights was the movie Gandhi with Ben Kingsley.
Yeah.
You saw this individual that was so resilient and fighting so much for what he believed.
Yeah.
So that to me was a really, really powerful book.
Yeah.
Or sorry, movie.
Yeah.
And that impacted me a lot.
Yeah. Nice. Very good.
And the other
good suggestion.
Did you ask for two?
No, I'm still going to ask. I haven't asked it yet. And here it comes. It's about morning rituals. Do you have one? And if so, do you care to share?
I absolutely wake up in the morning, and if I have not worked the entire night the night before and have not slept in too much, I try and catch my kids and have breakfast with them and my tea. Works very late the night before, and sometimes I will miss them in the morning, and I will have my tea and yearn to see them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's my tea.
Thank you so very much for this interview, Aly Jetha from Big Bad Boo. Congratulations on all your amazing work. I'm sure we're going to hear and see a lot more about Boo and yourself. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me.
You've listened to Pulse by Alpha Wire, produced by Natalie Piles and Amela Faisal, with great music, The Optimist, written by Holly Hamill, performed and produced by Alo. Episodes hosted weekly by me, Aldo de Pape.